Welcome back, Chill of the Night, to another episode of the Infernal Archive. And what an episode it is! We've been waiting for so goddamn long. The triumphant return of one of the greatest, franchises in horror history, in my opinion. So long that we thought that this movie was going to be called 28 Months Later, but they fucking skipped months because it's been so long that now they're just calling it 28 Years Later. Andrew, could you read to us from the scroll of spookiness about what this film's all about?
So 28 Years Later is a 2025 post-apocalyptic coming-of-age horror film produced and directed by Danny Boyle and written by none other than Alex Garland. A group of survivors of the Rage virus live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors.
So, from that description, you might have caught on to a little thing that I find very interesting. One of the chief descriptors that they have on IMDb for this movie is a coming-of-age story, which if you've seen the other two films, they certainly were not that. I mean, maybe you could make an argument 28 weeks, maybe, because it has children in it, but I certainly wouldn't describe the other two films that way.
No.
So that's interesting. Andrew, you've been waiting just as long as I have. How excited are you?
I mean, I'm so excited. The trailer got me so hyped up.
Yeah.
There's that scene. I'm not sure if it's a thing they created for the movie or if it's an actual thing they pulled from history, but it's this very 1, 2, and they use so effectively.
11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before.
And just every time I've seen it in other movies we've gone to see, I'm like, I can't wait. I'm just so excited. And the original 28 Days is one of my favorite zombie films.
Yeah. I agree. The trailers for this movie, it's we've talked about this before, but it's there should be an award show for trailers because this film would fucking be in the running big time, maybe the winner. And like you said, 28 Days won. 28 Weeks Later, I will say, and I've maintained this, it is my favorite zombie film of all time. I fucking love that movie so dearly. I just didn't think this day would come. I didn't think we were ever going to get a sequel. This is very exciting. We are going to go check it out, and then we will give you our thoughts when we return.
Wait here for a little while. See what happens.
And welcome back, Chill of the Night. We just got back from seeing 28 Years Later. Certainly an experience. Andrew, what do you think?
Overall, I would say I loved it. The first half especially was just exactly what I wanted. Definitely a departure in the second half in terms of just maybe not tone exactly, but just it just went a different direction than I expected it to. And in a weird way, it gives me kind of Dune vibes in that I watched the first one and I'm like, okay. And then when the second one came out and was as amazing as it was, I'm like, oh no, now I like the first one that much more.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's what got us to here, and we needed this setup to get here. So I think that's the big takeaway is if the next one, because they hinted at a sequel, there's obviously
there has to be a sequel.
So and
if they canceled the sequel,
God, that would
this movie gets much worse.
Yeah, much worse.
Good news, everyone! Those asinine morons who canceled us were themselves fired for incompetence.
So there's going to be a sequel, and if that does well and fits and it is good, this movie maintains its status. If not, it kind of falls even more flat, the second half at least. But yeah, overall, it lived up to the hype, I would say, with an asterisk.
Yeah, I'll say it's certainly not the film. It's not the film I was waiting for, I guess. Maybe that's a good way to say it. It's like you said, the first half of this movie is exactly correct. It's it pushed the franchise into the future in a way that I wasn't expecting. It had all this brilliant original horror stuff. There is stuff they do at night with night cinematography and a red filter, basically, that is
chilling.
It fits this franchise to a fucking T, and it is so scary. It is whoever's idea that was, You deserve your life paid for. Brilliant, fucking brilliant, awesome. Love that. There's some stuff that it's like I get the intention. To me, it was like, okay. They made a big fluff about this movie being shot on iPhones, and they before this film came out, they showed this big rig that they did. They're doing the Matrix like bullet time thing. It was like, it was good like 2 or 3 times, but there's a sequence in this film at the beginning where they do it like 8 times in a fucking row, where it's like, okay, we get it. You had the rig. You don't need to use it for every fucking shot.
When the infected when they're getting dropped.
It's like
it's a little much, but
you use it when it's like when it works, it's great. I'm fine. But it was just like,
it didn't take away from anything for me, but
it was brief enough that not really for me either. But it was
and the
like,
sequence was fast enough that it was like, okay, like,
it was.
I was into the suspense of the
situation. It's just the type of thing where, like, Danny Boyle, like, it's like when a filmmaker is just allowed to like go gimmicky, then it's like they're gonna go gimmicky, and it's like, it's the type of thing where I wish somebody would have been like, maybe we emphasize 2 or 3 of the kills this way. We don't do 8 of them, and then we never use it again in the rest of the fucking movie. Like, we use it in this one sequence, and then we never do it again.
One. Here I go again. Oh, Jesus! Now you see what I was going for, right? How badass is that?
So that thing was funny, but like you said, it's so unobtrusive, and it's such a little thing that it doesn't affect any sort of like the quality of the sequence at all, or not in any sort of like major way. But yeah, like you said, it's like the film reaches its sort of second half, and it is a markedly different film in terms of content. Like, I'll say that, like, if you look at 28 Days, or it's something that it's a huge criticism I have of 28 Days, where it's like, I love like the first third or 2/3 of that movie, first half, 2/3, and then it gets to a point where, if you've seen it, they're at the mansion, where I really think it just does not, it like loses all, like, it becomes extremely uninteresting for me, or like it treads ground that was very well tread by George Romero, and he did it way better to me, and like Land of the Dead and that kind of shit. This film, not in the same way, but similarly, when it hits that second half, or hits that last third, it brings in an element which I think is good. Like if I examine it as an isolated piece, I think it's extremely good, and the writing's really good, and it's emotionally affecting, and it's like doing all the stuff. But it feels so like what I keep saying is like, what happened to all the fucking zombies in my zombie movie? Like, I'm in a zombie movie. I'm in a 28 Days film. I expect there to be zombies. And for a very long time, I have seen not one zombie.
There's a good, like, maybe not quite quarter of the film where we take a break almost from that to do this other thing that isn't interesting in its own way, but it's not high octane zombie stuff.
No zombies. Yeah, it's like... Yeah. It must be 20 minutes at least, I would say. Like I could see it feeling a lot longer than it is, but it's gotta be like 20 minutes of the movie where it's like, it's just fully its own little like interjection or whatever. And like I said, it's really good. It's Alex Garland's writing. It's fantastic. But it almost feels like Alex Garland's like, I have this other idea for a totally different film that's this thing. Yeah. And like, let's work it into like 28 years or whatever.
I feel like it's one of those things that until we know what comes next, it's hard to know how much, because there's a universe in which this piece that feels kind of shoehorned in sets up some bigger thing.
Oh, it's totally essential, yeah.
Yeah, so 100%. We just don't know yet until the next piece comes, whether it hits or falls flat ultimately. One thing I really want to call out, not to interject if you're not done, sorry, the infected in this film. I don't know what I was expecting, but like,
not this,
and they made them so much more terrifying, and more than any other zombie media video game or whatever, it actually felt like, oh, this is what would happen if a virus and these infected things evolved for 28 years.
Yeah, like Darwinian, like
actual.
Yeah,
like, those fucking, they call them boars, the ones that fucking crawl on the ground and are like,
eat worms all day, every day.
Yeah, just fucking disgusting and creepy in their own way, but totally distinct from the runner ones that are like lean and naked and chasing them, and then also still distinct yet again from what they call the alphas. And it's like all three of these feel realistic enough, plausible, like there's enough going on here. Where, like, shit. And like actually scary again. Like once again, that's what 28 Days Later did so well. It made zombies scary again.
100%. That's the thing is like I've had this conversation with lots of people, but it's like I really struggle to find a sense of fear in things that feature like slow moving zombies. I just like the logistics of it oftentimes get in the way of my immersion or whatever you might call it. But in these films, I'm like, this sucks. This sucks. I don't want to be in this scenario. I would die so fast. I do not have the chutzpah to run away from these things and hide from these fucking things that want to murder you all the time.
Fast kid.
Yes. Oh my goodness. There's that scene at the beginning where there's two, like a father and son are hiding in an attic and they're like ripping through the fucking house and they're making like these awful calling noises. So good. I could have done with even more of that. I hope they bring in even more of that because it was like such an uncomfortable feeling or whatever. Yeah, 100%. The way that they project this film into the future was so. It's what you want this from the sequel. It's
and the world building too, like even the little community, and like we get to see snapshots of like jobs in our community. And I even loved. I'm not sure how you felt about it, but like they're practicing their archery, and we see like the cutaway from the old film of like the medieval archers shooting, and like the mirroring of these two things. And I love the world building.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
I could have liked the stock footage stuff. I could have taken it or leaving it. Like I did. I definitely. It's what I'll say. This for what I like about it is that other movies don't do that. So I like that it gives the film an identity of its own.
Added
but
some
it's like
flavor.
if you took it out, I probably wouldn't have cared. Like I think the film would have been just as effective or whatever. Like I don't know if necessarily the stock footage added anything significantly to me, but it's like at the end of the day, we were talking about this. The film was very brave. Like it's not. In terms of its creative punches, it's not pulling them. It's like, this is my editing vision. I am doing this the way my film wants. Even though some of it might feel clunky or a little bit not, it's totally refined. Like, it's like, but that's kind of 28 Days. Like, 28 Days is that way. It feels kind of rough. It feels, like it was filmed on fucking 480p or whatever. Like, that lends itself to that style. So, like, whereas in some other movies that might really have detracted, it doesn't feel that way in this movie. Like those weird editing choices or whatever.
They were confident. They made the choice and they stuck with it and leaned into it. Yeah,
I definitely, totally. Oh my god, I just had something else I wanted to highlight in the film, but anyways, point being, I think that this film very worth seeing in theaters. The big criticism, I guess, if I had to levy one, is the fact that the previous two films stand totally by themselves. Like, you do not need to see another film to watch 28 Days. You do not need to see another film to watch 28 Weeks. You don't even need to see 28 Days Later to watch 28 Weeks Later. Like, they give you the rundown. It makes total sense. This film doesn't work unless the next film works. Like, it like the second half gets very weird and very like
by the end.
What is the point? Well, I'd even say like the diatribe away, if that doesn't serve any sort of purpose in the future,
true.
It's like, why did we do this why did we spend this, like, had it been a 5-minute scene, then it's like, it doesn't bother, but it's like, because it's such an extended sequence, it needs to, we were talking, it's like, the first half of this movie feels like an act 1, then the second half feels like the first half of an act 2, so like the next movie has to be like the end of act 2 and then the act 3, and then it's a cohesive piece. So it's like, it's weird because like,
it could be great. It could be Dune and Dune 2.
Totally. And it's like, I am a little disappointed because I did like the nature of these movies being the fact that they work by themselves, and like one of them could be your favorite one, and it's a cohesive film that you don't need anything else for. Whereas now the franchise has strayed away from that. So I will miss that, and I did think it was a strength of the franchise, and I wish they would have kept it going. I wish this would have been its own cohesive piece. But at the end of the day, like, I'm just so happy to see this franchise back.
Same here.
Just happy to see these filmmakers still at it, and Alex Garland's still involved, and everybody's still doing their thing. Like,
Ralph Fiennes was fucking awesome.
Incredible. He's so
all
incredible.
The acting, I would say, was pretty standout. Like, even the child actor was great.
Yeah.
Like, you never know with a young adult, whatever actor, if they're gonna pull it off or not. And I would say, hit all those notes.
100%.
And he had a lot to pull off too. There's a lot of range of emotion that he had
100%.
to-
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a monotone performance by any means.
Yeah, there's like, I don't want to give anything away, but there's a scene when he has to like confronting your father in any context, not an easy thing. This film has a scene when a boy has to confront his father. Very well done, extremely well done. Like totally, just the direction, everything about it, the performance, the direction, just very, very well done. Yeah, it's odd. It's like I almost feel like scoring this film now is tough without the next one.
Because it's like I want to give it a lower, not low, but like,
because I would give the first half of this film 13 out of 13, no fucking questions asked.
yeah.
This movie is worth seeing for the first, like if you go see that for the first half, it is
in theaters
the
Yeah.
best thing ever. And then just because of the sort of the tonal weirdness and the fact that it feels incomplete right now, the second half is like you feel like you got to score it lower just because it doesn't feel complete or whatever. But I think it's like our overall feelings is the movie just deserves to still be like
Pretty
ranked
high.
quite highly
Yeah.
or whatever. Did we settle on? What did we settle on? Did we say something?
I think we said like a 10.5 or an 11.
Yeah, I think we wanted to go like just like crack 80 for sure.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 and a half, I think.
Yeah. 10.5 out of 13, which puts us like in between the audience and critic score. Like audiences scored it at a 64, which I think is criminally low. And
Yeah, I like
critic at 89.
I could see it though. It's like let's say because there's a ton of people who went in 2007, if they were born in 08, like they're teenagers, whatever now, that might have never fucking seen those movies because it's been so long.
So they don't have any of the buy-in that we do. Yeah.
And if this is where you're dropping into this franchise for the first time, it's like I can see you being like, "What the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
how can you?" If this was
true.
my first
That's true.
28 movie, I would hate this franchise. I'd be like, "This is nonsense. Why would you?" Yeah, that's
fair.
I
That's
haven't
fair.
thought about it from that perspective, but no, as the big fans we are, it feels great. Like I'm just like I said, so happy for this franchise to be back. Any other thoughts you have?
No, just if you're into this type of movie or into the franchise, go see it in theaters. It's worth it.
And I think the next one is being directed by Nia DaCosta. I think directed the Candyman remake, which I wasn't crazy about, but there's a lot about it that I liked. I think he's a very creative filmmaker.
He's got an interesting canvas to work with. So
Nia DaCosta. Wait, I think Nia DaCosta might be. Wait, is Nia DaCosta a woman or? I have to look this up. Now I'm questioning if this is a female filmmaker or a male filmmaker. Not sure. Nia DaCosta though. Know the name.
Yeah.
Directed Candyman remake. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Infernal Archive, and we'll catch you next time.